Have you ever thrown away something like yogurt because the date labels made you unsure, even though it looked and smelled perfectly fine? Don't worry, most of us have, and it is not because we don't care. It is because date labels can be confusing. Across Australia, households generate 62% of our national food waste, around 2.5 million tons every single year. That's nearly 7 million kilograms of food every single day. So even a small reduction in household food waste can have a massive impact. And unfortunately, a large portion of this food is still perfectly edible when it's thrown out, which contributes to avoidable greenhouse gas emissions once the food decomposes. To reduce this preventable waste, I'm proposing that the Food Standards Australia New Zealand launches a nationwide education campaign explaining how to interpret best before and use by dates. Because when Australians understand what those labels mean, we can make safer and smarter food decisions and waste less food. Before going further, I want to acknowledge the opposing perspective fairly. Some argue that food waste comes mainly from behavioral factors like overbuying, throwing out leftovers, or doing routine fridge cleanouts. And yes, those factors do play a role. But those surveys didn't measure whether the confusion over date labels is driving those behaviors. When confusion is examined directly, research shows that between one-third and 82% of consumers misunderstand best before labels, and one-third to 62% misunderstand use by labels. And this matters because when expiry date disposal is mistakenly for a purely behavioral choice, the real cause becomes invisible. The solution ends up targeting habits rather than misunderstanding. So confusion isn't small, it is simply undermeasured. The encouraging news is that confusion is fixable. International experiments shows that clear date labels and education reduce unnecessary disposal. For example, discarding rates fall from 40% to 30% when consumers fully understand how to interpret the label properly. So understanding the labels actually changes the behavior in practice, not just in theory. The national education campaign will help Australians feel confident about date labels, reducing preventable waste and support SDG 12, responsible consumption and production. And FSANZ is the strongest position to lead this change, protecting consumers while helping households waste less food. Together, we can make a small change that saves a large amount of food and money every single year.